All right. All right. Welcome back, everyone. This is All About Chefs podcast. My name is Daiji. And like I said, some people call me Chef Daiji. And this podcast is all about chefs. And after our first episode with Taco from Outdoor Chef Life, we have a second guest. His name is Cleary. He is the former owner of Hina Yakitori. He still continues to do his yakitori pop-up in San Francisco Bay Area. He is a Japanese chef. He's the Bay Area native with 16 years of experience. And I have him at my restaurant in Los Altos, Hiroshi today. Welcome to the show, Tommy.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever been in Los Altos before?
I used to work here.
Okay.
Long time ago in the 90s. So that kind of shows how old I am. So in the 90s, I had a part-time job here at this flower shop that was right here on Main Street. I don't know if it's still here. It's called Divino Florist. Mm-hmm. And I used to do deliveries. So other than that, I think I came here one time to go to Sumika.
Oh, Sumika, yeah.
Sumika or Sumiya.
It's down the street.
Yeah, that was about it, yeah.
So you were doing deliveries for flowers?
Yeah. I used to deliver flowers.
Man. So, wow. Okay, so this is close to like 30 years ago?
Yeah.
So that was way before you started cooking?
Yeah. I was like going to, just about to go to SF State. Mm-hmm. And it was like my last job before going to college.
I see.
And so I was like doing these deliveries part-time, like, whatever, it was like 5-6 days a week or something. Like
so you were doing full-time?
Part-time, like 5 hours a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
I mean, it was okay. Yeah, I at that time I was like, antisocial or whatnot. And so the less I had to deal with people, the better it was. Uh-huh. And so like delivering was kind of cool for me because, I didn't have to really interact with anybody. I just get something, drive somewhere, drop it off, and that's just like, get the hell out,
Right.
Yeah.
It's cool. And back then where did you used to live?
At that time I was still at home. So I grew up in Belmont.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with Belmont. It's like right next to San Mateo.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Belmont. So I was living in Belmont at the time. Yeah.
That's fantastic. But you were born and raised in California.
Yeah. So I was born in San Francisco.
Okay.
I was born in San Francisco, but grew up in Belmont. Yeah.
Excellent. And okay, so when I hear Hina Yakitori, it's very unique.
Yeah.
I don't know many yakitori restaurants in San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably the only yakitori omakase place that I've been to.
Yeah.
And it's probably still to these days, maybe the only one, if not,
Yeah.
At least one of the few yakitori omakase concept.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is there any other?
In California,
omakase
like
concept?
in LA, there's a new one that opened.
Mm-hmm.
And coincidentally, it was like he was also a deshi where I learned in Tokyo.
Okay.
But he was before me. He opened up a shop in Tokyo, but he's out here now in Arcadia, down in LA. And he opened this place called Kidori, yeah. So he's there now until March. He hired staff to run it, but it's an omakase. And I think that's the only other one that is like completely omakase is that one. Most of the ones are usually a la carte.
Right.
So for Hina was, I think, the only one that was just 100% omakase.
Yeah, that's very inspiring, especially in this industry when you start something new.
Yeah.
There's so much risk.
Yeah.
And I really honor people like you who takes that first step to do something new.
Yeah.
Take on a big risk and trying to educate people.
I mean, well, it started off as being lazy.
Being lazy.
So when I opened Hina in 2016, it was a la carte. Okay, and like
that was when you had that was when you had the first shop in Oakland, right?
Yeah. It was a la carte, and it was just me, and I had one other guy working for me. And at first when we opened, it was dead, right? And so I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is kind of cool. I mean, not cool on a money standpoint, right? But and then we got a good review, and it got super duper busy, and it just like was way too much to handle, and everything would run out, and people would be pissed off. And so I was like, I need to come up with something that's just, you know, it's gonna be easier, you know. And so I was like, I just gotta control everything. I'm just gonna do it omakase, so nobody can argue about anything, and everybody will get the same thing that everybody else had, and there won't be any like leftovers or, you know. And I'll be able to calculate exactly what I need to do. So it was a little bit easier. So it came from Oakland because it was too busy. And so I kind of had to come up with a way to, you know, make it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the operation.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And I would assume that your food costs also improved, right, from that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
Very much.
Less waste. Yeah. Funny enough, when I opened in 2016 in Oakland, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even know what food cost was. You know, I just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and then I figured all that stuff out later. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to get deeper into, you know, how you opened Hina Yakitori in Oakland in the first place. From there to moving to San Francisco. But before that, can you tell me a little more about what you've done before opening the, you know, first Hina Yakitori in Oakland?
Sure. So I started cooking at a late age, and it wasn't like my choice.
You want to tell me how old you started?
Yeah, I was 39.
39?
I was 39. So I'm like 54 now. So I'm pretty old.
You're 50.
I'm 54. Yeah. I'm old.
You look great.
I'm old.
You look great.
But so I started at 39. So prior to like doing the cooking thing, I was like into music. And I had tried that like forever. And it was like, you know what I mean? I kept going for it. And then finally, like at age 39, I was like, there's no way this is going to like support me, you know, at that age. And my mom was like, go work at Chikara's shop in Oakland called Bidama. Because my mom was a server, like, you know, with Chikara, like back in the 80s. So I'd known Chikara since I was like 13 or 14. Yeah. And so she's like, just go over there and be a server and then like try to figure out what you want to do next in life. So I go to Chikara and I'm like, hey, can I be a server? And he's like, oh yeah, come in tomorrow. So I go in the next day and they're short staff in the kitchen. There's literally just him and like one other guy. And Chikara's on the sushi bar and the other guy's in the kitchen. And so he puts me in the kitchen. And I never worked in the kitchen, you know. He's like, oh, just do this, just do that. And then like I was like, I just want to be a server. And then they had a grill. And he's like, go on the grill. And I was like, I've never cooked before, you know, because my mom's Japanese. Yeah. And so, you know, your Japanese mom does everything for you. You know, I never did my laundry. I never made my bed. I never did none of this stuff, right? And so I had to learn how to do all this stuff. He gave me like these Japanese books, you know, the books, like the specialty books. Yeah. Where it has all the shops and all the stuff.
Like a guidebook type of thing.
Yeah. So he gave me a stack of these and he's like, learn from the books. You know, and I was like, oh.
How to cook?
Yeah, like what they look like. Okay, you know, I'm like, well, thanks.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was just like a really weird introduction to it.
So you initially got into the industry without, so you didn't even want to start cooking?
It wasn't even on my radar. It was just
like, I start working there as a dishwasher or whatever.
So, I mean, like, I did a dishwash job in college at this Japanese restaurant in Daly City. It's not there anymore. It's called Tani's Kitchen. Do you know that one?
Which one?
Tani's Kitchen.
Tani's Kitchen?
It's not there anymore.
That sounds like Japanese.
He's Japanese as hell. He's from Hiroshima. But I worked for him for like 5-6 years. Just
in Daly City?
In Daly City, yeah. While I was going to SF State. Yeah. And this is just an example of how much I didn't cook or I knew nothing about cooking. So one day, Tani-san comes to the back and he has a big silver bowl, like one of those steel bowls, right? With spinach. And he goes to me and he goes, wash the spinach. And I was like, okay. I never washed spinach before, but sure. So I look at the spinach, and it's like, spinach is dirty. There's like all that dirt on it, right? And I'm like, how the hell do you clean this off? He didn't tell me how to do it. He just assumed I knew. So I put it in the sink, and I run the water, and I load it up with the water, and I'm like, how do you get the dirt off? So I took like dishwash soap, and I just like put dishwash soap, and I just started like washing the spinach with the soap. Like, that's how much I had no
And this
clue.
is when you were in college?
This is when I was in college, yeah.
Wow.
So
how did it turn out?
I mean, nobody died, right? Nobody complained. And like, funny enough, I didn't tell anybody about it. I put it out. We put it out. Because I didn't know. I knew like later. And I was like, holy shit, you're not supposed to use soap. Yeah. But I told him like way years later, like 15, 20 years later, I was like, hey, Tani-san, I got to tell you, when you asked me to wash the spinach, I used soap.
This is like one good YouTube short moment now, right? Yeah. Well, but the thing is, it sounds a little ridiculous, stupid.
It was dumb.
But it actually, like, getting into the professional kitchen is like this every day, right? Like, you realize how little you know. Yeah. Very little things. Oh, like, I didn't know this is how you're supposed to do, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I had a spoiled upbringing. I didn't do shit. I didn't know, like, this is another dumb one. It was just like, when I first moved out of my mom's house, living with my friends, I didn't know that, like, your bath towel after you take a shower and you dry off. Yeah. I didn't know, like, you should wash that, like, frequently. Because I'm thinking, like, you're clean because you just took a shower, right? Yeah. I wipe myself off. I'm clean. I just hang it to dry. It should be good, right?
I felt that way, too, when I was small.
Did you?
Yeah. And then I was like, why do I have to clean that?
It didn't make sense.
It's supposed to be clean, right? Yeah.
And so I didn't know that. And, like, I guess it accumulated this smell. And, like, my roommate was like, dude, fucking wash your fucking bath towel, man. But yeah, I was clueless. Yeah. But yeah, that's how I kind of got into it, was just by chance. It wasn't like I set out to do it. Then I got addicted to it, unfortunately,
Well, look at you now. You've been,
look at me now.
Become a big time Japanese chef in the Bay Area.
But it was like those books that he gave me. Yeah. There was this one shop in there. It's called Tori Salon.
Tori Salon?
Yeah, Tori Salon. And they were like way ahead of everybody in terms of like what the skewers look like, all the designs and everything. And like it really stood out. And so I was like, I got to eat at this place.
And where was this?
It's in Tokyo. Okay. In Nishiazabu.
Oh, okay. Azabu.
That's where the restaurant is. And so I was like, I got to like go eat here. So I called up a friend of mine in Tokyo. And I go, hey, I'm going to come visit this summer. Mm-hmm. Can we go to this place called Tori Salon? And she's like, oh, I know the owner. And I was like, really? Mm-hmm. I was like, do you think I could work there? And she's like, probably not. And I was like, shit. I was like, I'll work for free. And she's like, he's not going to hire you. I go, please, just ask. I'll do it for free. Yeah. And then like 3-4 months later, she's like, hey, he said, okay. I go, who said okay? I had already forgot about it. Oh, yeah. And he's like, Tori Salon, he said you could come in and work. And I was like, oh shit, okay. I didn't expect it. So I just said, I told Chicago, I go, hey, this is like in September or something. And I go, I'm going to quit in December. I was like, I'm going to Japan. Oh shit. And that's how it happened. So I went there.
Oh wow. So he hired you?
He hired me for free. I mean, I didn't get paid, but yeah.
For how long?
I was there for like almost 2 years. Yeah. Almost 2 years.
For free?
For free, yeah.
Shit.
It wasn't the smartest thing to ever do. But
no. So it's really interesting because my first guest of this show, Taku, from Outdoor Chef Life, we also touched on this, how he started cooking, and he also told me first month he worked for free.
Oh, same thing. Yeah.
And I know it's a thing in the restaurant industry, but I feel like it's more or less common. To have to go through that, but in your opinion, is that something that you hear very often?
I don't think they do it as much anymore.
No more, right? Yeah.
I think back then it was a lot more common to do that. But like now, if you like tell somebody, hey, do you want to work for me? They'll go, how much? And then you go, for nothing. They're gonna be like,
so like,
no.
how do you feel about that, right? Because I think the reason why we have good chefs, since you already revealed kind of how old you are, you're 54, you said, right? Chefs in that age range, from what I've seen, they're very good. All of my team member at Hiroshi, they're about 50. They're super good.
They put in a lot of time.
Yeah, they just the level of their skills compared to whom I know in their 30s, 20s, it's next level. And it's very hard to come by. And I think those guys are that way because they've gone through that, right? And they started cooking because they wanted to. Like, how much do you have to want to cook in order to go, okay, I'll work for you for free for like 3 years, right?
Like, how bad do you want it?
Yeah, how bad do you want? But I think the kids nowadays are, I want to be a chef, but how much are you going to pay me?
Yeah, they don't want to put the work in. That's
true.
Yeah,
that's true, right? And I don't, I don't want to say this is how everyone should operate, but I think the way they look at chef job is completely different nowadays.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, because it was kind of like almost like a college system, the way it works. You know, you come in at the bottom and then you take these little steps to move up.
Yeah.
And like now people want to come in and they like already want to be like, you know, the chef or whatever, you know. It's pretty interesting.
I think that's the hardest part, right?
Yeah.
See, because you see all these shiny things on social media and YouTube that chefs that already, in their, stage of their life that's already doing great and, have their own restaurants, but they didn't get there overnight.
No.
But a lot of guys want to get there overnight.
They think it's easy.
Yeah.
Like, because they see the end result. But yeah. I mean, remember when there was like, it was like a whole boom where the television chef was the thing, and then everybody wanted to be a chef on TV. And remember?
Yep.
That was like a whole thing too. Yeah. People look at social media and it looks glamorous. They're like, I'm gonna do that. Yeah. I mean, it's really, I think, tough. Yeah. I think like the chef world is just tough, though, don't you think? Like,
I think so.
It's a lot of work and time and like isolation. You know.
Oh my God. Probably 90-80% of what we do is repetitive work and not very fun and interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the best part is like the customers, right?
Yep.
But everything before that, it's just like you're on this like this schedule where it's like we got to be done by this time, and then
there's nothing glamorous about it.
No.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it does.
Like it when you barely have time to eat anything, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of a bad habit, I guess. You get so used to eating at the restaurant. When I'm outside of the restaurant, even at home, I eat fast. If I'm at home and I'm by myself, I eat over the sink, because it's like easy cleanup. I'm just gonna eat it real quick and just be done. I don't sit down. It's like, and I have a bad habit of like, when you get like crumbs on the table, here we can go wipe it, and it can be on the floor because we're gonna sweep it later. Yeah. So it's kind of like a habit at home where like if I'll go like this and I was like, oh, damn, because it's like second nature to me to just kind of do that,
Cool. Okay. So do you think you had that really strong drive when you started cooking? Or how did you, because it sounds like you started as like some kind of helper at that place, right?
Yeah. So I started at the bottom, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, at first he would just like let me stand next to him and then watch. He's just like, don't touch anything. Yeah. Just watch, and ask questions. That was.
But you always wanted to be a chef.
I mean,
from that moment?
when I started
Yeah.
back then, because I got into it, and then I have like this weird personality where once I get into something, I have to be the best. Or,
Yeah.
you know, I strive to be the best.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I was like, I want to run my own shop eventually. You know, I had these ideas of what I wanted to do. And so, yeah.
And this was, what year was this?
2009, I think.
2009.
Yeah, 2009. Yeah.
2009 to the 16. Yeah, you said you've
Like
been
16
cooking for
years.
16 years
Yeah.
now, right?
Yeah.
And you opened Hina Yakitori 8 years ago?
Yeah, 2016.
Wait, that's the same year as the Hiroshi opened.
Was it?
Yeah.
Really?
We are the same age.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So you had 8 years of cooking experience before starting.
So yeah.
Hina.
So when I was in Japan, so I was in Tokyo for like 2 years. I came back, and then I worked at Ippuku in Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
So I became the grill master there, like the first day.
And Ippuku is, what kind of restaurant is that?
It's like a izakaya.
Mm-hmm.
Izakaya.
Is that still around?
It's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been there since like 2003, I think.
There's some good Japanese spots in Berkeley.
There's a few.
Yeah.
You have never been to Ippuku?
I have not. I wanted to go to Kiraku.
Dude, you gotta. Kiraku's cool too. You
I
gotta
know,
go to
right?
Ippuku, dude.
I don't think so.
Next time,
But I know there are many.
dude.
For
You
some
hit
reason.
me up. You're in the East Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah,
hang
Ippuku's
out
good.
there. Yeah.
It's legit.
Nice. It's owned by Japanese. I haven't seen.
No.
Oh,
He's
okay.
a white dude, but
Mhm.
he trained in Japan actually.
Oh, cool.
I forget the name of that spot. It's this famous yakitori spot in Tokyo. I can't remember the name, but he hires always like Japanese people. Like he's like one of those guys. You know, he really loves Japanese culture. And when I came back, I went there for a job, and he was like, "What's your work history?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, I just got back from Japan. I was working at Tori Salon." And he's like, "Wait, Tori Salon in Tokyo?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Hold on." He goes and he pulls out this book,
Yeah.
and he's like, "This one?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's the one." And he's like, "Well, when can you work?" And I was like, I don't know, I guess tomorrow."
Mm-hmm.
So I came in, and then he was just like, "Okay, you run the grill." And like, you know, he just like, I just ran that thing at that time. So I did that for like 3 years.
I see.
Yeah.
3 years, and this was the free work you've done.
Yeah. After.
How did you like pay your bills and stuff
In
with that?
Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to have a massive record collection. I've been collecting records since I was like 9.
Okay.
So I had about maybe like 15,000 records.
No kidding.
Yeah. I sold them all. And so that funded everything in Japan.
That's a commitment right there.
I'll send you a photo of what my room looked like, because it really wasn't a room. I lived on my friend's sofa. So one of my best friends, a Japanese guy, he was living in Nakameguro. He had 2 roommates, and it was a 3-floor place. It was like 2 rooms upstairs, 2 on the bottom, and then the living room in the middle. And he was like, "You could stay on the sofa, you know, you just pay like 200 or something like that."
Yeah.
And so I lived on his sofa for like 2 years. This small Japanese sofa, you know, like a Japanese sofa. It's tiny.
Super tiny.
It's like about like 2 of those chairs put together.
Yeah.
I'll send you a photo of it. I have a photo of it. I'll show you
crazy.
like later. But so I just did that. I stayed at his place while I worked there. It was like, we did like 15-hour days at that time, 6 days a week.
I mean, back in the days, that's normal, right?
Yeah. It was like, we started at 12 o'clock in the afternoon until like, last call was like 2 a.m., something like that. And I was there sometimes I was there till 4 in the morning. You know, I come home at like 5. And then just
that's pretty common in the restaurant industry.
in Japan,
especially in
like
Japan, yeah.
here, you tell people you did that, they're like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
But over there,
I mean,
everybody's like, "Well, yeah."
There's no surprise that you're doing great, and you had the restaurant in, because I think it's pretty considered quick
Yeah.
turnaround to be able to open a restaurant after
Yeah.
less than a decade of experience and open that up. And
For sure.
But you sound like someone that puts a lot of work into it. in short period of time.
I mean, I got obsessed with it.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, that's what you need, right?
Yeah. I was just like super focused on it, you know, like when I was in Tokyo also, like, you know, during that time, some friends would come and visit and they're like, hey, let's go hang out and like go meet girls. And, you know, I was like, dude, I can't, man. And they're like, what? I was like, dude, if I start doing that, I'm going to lose my focus, you know?
I love that.
And so I had to like block all of that stuff out.
You know, Muhammad Ali, right?
Yeah.
He said he was at this interview and he was asked by the interviewer, like, what's the hardest part in your training?
Yeah.
You know what he said?
What?
He said the hardest part is actually to go back home at 9 p.m. and go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Knowing that I can also go out and party.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the training, but the hardest part is actually the discipline.
The discipline.
Yeah. To say no to a lot of distraction.
Yeah.
That has been the toughest part.
It was tough.
Yeah.
And it's like my roommates, they liked to party, which was, you know, and they would party at the house.
Yeah.
And I lived in the living room. And so it was like, you know, they would come home and there'd be girls there. And I was like, hey, man, dude, you guys got to go to sleep. I was like, it's 4 a.m. I was like, I got to wake up. You know, I have to like kick people out. They'd still be partying. You know how it is in like Tokyo. It doesn't stop. So, yeah, I had to like be really, really focused. And like, I can't believe I did it actually because like nightlife in Tokyo is, you know,
good.
It's pretty
It's
good.
probably one of the best.
Yeah. And
in
you know,
the world.
And I was like younger at that time, you know, and I was single. And so it's like I totally like, you know, bypassed all that stuff just to do that, just to get my ass kicked every day, you know. You go in and then like getting in trouble, you know what I mean? Like you do something wrong and it's like, it was like that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, hearing all of these, you know, I really think that there's no really secret to success, being successful in this industry, or maybe like in any other industry, right?
Yeah.
Just your focus and...
I mean, it's just, you know, I think there's no real talent.
Yeah.
It's just something if you put the time and like you're really, really dedicated to it, I think anybody can do it.
Yeah.
You know, it just,
I believe that.
It just takes you just have to be able to do that dedication part, which is,
that's the hardest part.
It is the hard part because it's easy to get distracted, you know.
Super easy. Yeah.
Very easy.
Yeah. I mean, I often catch myself with that too, you know.
Getting distracted.
Shit. Yeah, easily. You know, getting distracted. New ideas coming in.
Yeah.
And that's also part of the distraction, I feel like. Not just hey, let's go out tonight, right?
Yeah.
But also like new things, new shiny business idea is always distracting because to continue the same thing repeatedly, it's very boring. Yeah. So it's very attractive to do something that's new, you know? But good for you, man. So, okay. So you started the restaurant in Oakland in 2016. And how long have you had that in Oakland before you moved to San Francisco?
1 year.
1 year?
I was there for 1 year, yeah.
That's... Okay, so within a year, it became super popular. And then the operation got really slammed.
It was too much. Okay. It's kind of weird to say that, right? It got so busy. I hated it, you know, because I was like just me and one other guy. Yeah. And it was just like, I think that Hina was like was it a 40-seat place maybe? I think it was 40-seat and a la carte. And so it was just like insane because it came out of nowhere. We opened. Yeah. I had no idea what I was doing, you know, back then. It was just like, I want to do a restaurant. Yeah. I didn't know nothing, you know. And so we opened and nobody came in, right? The first month, like I think 10 people came in. And the guy that was working with me was like, you know, I don't think I can do it any longer. And I was like, dude, just trust me. I don't know why. I was like, just trust me. I was like, give it like 2 or 3 more weeks or whatever it was, right? And he's like, okay. And so, you know, it's still not busy. And then one day, like a food writer came in. I don't know when it was. He came in. He wrote a good review. And it came out. And then the very next day, maybe the next day or 2 days after, I come out to the front to do what I normally do, setting up, right? And I'm looking out at the window, and like I see a bunch of people standing outside, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on out there?" It's like, you know, was there like a fight or something? because we were right next to a bar.
Yeah.
And so I was like, why is there like a commotion out there? So I go out there and I open a door and I'm like, oh, what's going on out here? And like, oh, we're just waiting to come in. And I was like, wait, what? You know, there was already like, 25, 30 people just lined up at like 5 o'clock, 30 minutes before we opened.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because we had been so used to nobody, right?
Yeah, right.
And so I was like, oh shit, we're in trouble.
We don't have the food.
I was like, well, I mean, we had some food, but I'm like, we weren't ready for anything, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even have a one of those ticket strips.
Yeah.
Where you hang the ticket on.
Yeah.
I didn't even have one of those, right? And so like all these tickets start shooting out, and I'm like putting them on this little table in front of me. It got so busy, like I knocked them off the table. They're all on the floor, and like they're all out of order. And I was like, oh shit, it was just like all this chaos because we just weren't ready for it. It was a mess.
So how did you guys handle it?
We had to figure it out. We're like, okay, we need to have like set seatings or something, like they have to come in at this time, and then we'll set a certain amount, and then 20 minutes later another amount, because like we let everybody in at once for 40 seats. Yeah. And everybody was ordering at once.
Oh my goodness.
And everybody got pissed at once because we couldn't do it. Because it was just two guys, and like, we ran out of stuff, and people were like, I just drove all the way from San Jose.
Oh my God.
And you're telling me like you ran out, and I felt bad, but what could I do? I wasn't ready. And so I was like, we need to ramp up. We need to hire more servers, and so we did it that way, and it was still too much.
I think the hardest part of the restaurant is to balance that, demand and supply. When you have a lot of demands and customers, you have to be always ready. But slow days come in, right? Yeah. Then you can't have so many people on the food, otherwise you will lose money.
It's tough.
That's tough, right?
It's very tough. Yeah. And I think at that time, in 2016, like Yakitori was still very new. It's still, relatively unknown. But like back then it was really unknown. And so, like kawa, there's not that much. A lot of these pieces are limited. Yeah. If you're doing like the whole bird, right? Yeah. And like they didn't understand that. They'd come and they're like, I want to order like kawa, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it ran out. And they're like, how could it run out?
There's so much skin on the
They're
skin.
like, the chicken is covered in skin, and I was just like, and like the tail, the bonjiri, right? It's just one tail on the bird, and it takes like, 3-4 birds just to make like one skewer. Yeah. And like, they're like, I want 10. And I'm like, well, I only have 4, or whatever it was. And they would just get pissed. So that's how I came up with the Hina concept.
Which is a omakase.
Omakase, okay. Yeah. Okay. So I can control it. Yeah. Because it was just driving
me
crazy.
That's smart. That's very smart.
Well, I mean, it was just like, I had to do it because people just didn't get it. And I was like, how am I going to like fix this?
Yeah. So when you were running Oakland Hina Yakitori, can I ask you how much was the average check?
Oh, damn. That's just a long time ago. Maybe 50, I want to say, maybe 50.
Okay, $50. That includes alcohol?
I would say so. Okay. I would say 50. Yeah, maybe Friday, Saturday it might have been like 60, I would say. Yeah, it was not that high.
Yeah. So from there, you turned that into Hina Omakase, right? In San Francisco. And how much did you start charging?
Well, so when we opened, our opening price was, I think it was 100. Yeah. I think we opened at 100 at that point. And by the time we closed, we were at 165, I think.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, like so the same divisadero, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so, and how many people can you fit? 12?
Tight fit 12, yeah.
Okay, 12.
We did 10 at the end. We said
in 2 turns.
In 2 turns, yeah.
2 turns.
We did 10.
20 and then 165. Okay. I mean, I guess that's a better business.
We figured it out at the end. So it's kind of funny. So when we opened at 100, we were like way overstaffed. So I had like 3 guys in the kitchen with me, like, in the inside. We had like 3 servers, right?
Mm-hmm.
One was like a food runner. It just didn't make sense. And then
That's
we had
too much.
we had
for
like
that
8
size.
people, right?
And this is omakase?
This is omakase
Okay.
when we first, not Oakland. I'm talking
Yeah,
in you know,
That's too much.
when we were only charging 100, we had like 8 people, right?
Yeah.
And then we finally figured it out like 4 years later. Like right when we were about to close, we're like, you know what? Just me and you can do it. Like, so it was just like
That guy, right?
Justin.
Yeah.
I think Justin's friends with Kurt too. I think he knows him.
Oh, really?
I think so.
The guy who works next to you, right?
No, not the guy. Okay, so I got rid of him.
The server.
It was just the Psalm, Justin, the guy. I don't know if he was there at that time.
Wait. Was that the guy that's serving?
Was he a guy?
Yeah. Are you talking about the chef or the guy?
The guy who was
in front?
serving. Yeah.
I think so.
Okay,
Because I remember he recognized me.
So that's Justin.
Okay.
So we figured out that just me and him could do it.
Oh,
And so
shit.
it was way more
Where is he
economical.
now?
It was like the numbers were great. You know, it was just me, Justin.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had one dishwasher
Yeah.
and one person prepping in the morning.
Mhm.
That was it. And like,
Very slim.
it was very
operation.
slim and it worked because it was only like 10 seats.
So what's Justin doing?
Justin is about to open a new restaurant in SF. He's part of this other group that's opening this, I think more of a higher end Chinese concept.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It's this pop up. It's called Happy Crane.
Okay.
Happy Crane. So he's part of that group.
Happy Crane.
He's at this place called Spruce right now, but he's with them. He's going to be, I think he's going to be the GM. I can't remember, but he was great.
I remember he was great.
He was great.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he's great.
That's awesome. Okay, so from here, we can still talk about this freely, but you can stop me if you don't feel comfortable.
Okay.
Because I want to get deeper into more business.
Sure.
So when you went from Oakland Hina Yakitori to
Mhm.
Hina Yakitori SF,
Mm-hmm.
did you form a partnership with those guys?
With the junior
guys?
group?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So they had that Hina space.
Yeah.
It was open space,
Yeah.
and they needed a concept for it.
Mm-hmm.
They originally were going to use it for themselves, but I forget why, but they changed their mind.
Mm-hmm.
And they were looking for a concept to come in there.
Mm.
And we have a mutual friend, that is friends with one of their partner group, got a partner in their group.
Yeah.
They came to Hina in Oakland, and one of the guys liked it, and he recommended it to them. So then they came over
Mhm.
and started to eat, and they're like, hey, what do you think about doing a Hina in SF?
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I didn't want to because I wanted to stay in Oakland. I wanted to find another spot in the city of Oakland because I live there.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to commute, right? And so I turned them away. I was like, no, I'm looking here in Oakland.
Yeah.
They're like, okay. And then like maybe a month later, they came back again, and they're like, hey, come on, what do you think? What about SF?
We want you.
And I was like, dude, I'm kind of, fixated on Oakland right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then they showed me the floor plan, right? And I was like, oh, because that was exactly what I wanted, was like 10 seats, 10,
Yeah.
12 seats. And I was like, wow, that's exactly what I want. I was like, okay. And so that's kind of how it happened.
So they already had the space built up?
It wasn't built out, but they had already had floor plan for it.
Oh, interesting.
They just didn't have a concept yet.
Do
but
they own the space?
They don't own the space. They have a I think it's like a 20 or 30 year lease.
That's to be fair, I think their concept is smart because I feel like they're occupying all the Divisadero location, right on that street, right?
I mean, it's a nice, that area is pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff there.
Yeah.
Sushi Ken is on the
I've
far end
been
of
there.
it, but
I've been there back when I was at Oma.
to Ken
Because Oma's owner
Yeah.
is Chinese.
and their friends.
And they're friends, so they took us there to eat.
Ken's cool. He's a good
Ken's
dude.
cool. Ken
yeah.
is from Kusakabe, right?
Yeah, he's from Kusakawa.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Ken's a good dude. And then I actually became friends with his partner there, Billy. Do you know Billy?
Wait, are we talking about Billy? What's his last name?
Kong. He owns
Because one of the partners in Oma is also Billy.
oh, he's not part of that.
Okay. Then
He's
different.
he has Saru hand roll and Saru sushi.
Okay. That's in Oakland? Where is it?
No, it's in SF. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about hand roll?
What do I think about it?
Yeah.
I mean, do I like them?
So let me tell you my take on this. So hand roll, I think when it first came out, it was super popular.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the kind of concept that lasts for like decades. It's very trendy.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I think it kind of, to me, it reminds me of like when Pokey was like popular.
Yep.
Remember, and then it was like a Pokey thing on every corner. Kind of reminds me of that because I think you could probably agree is like it's very easy to do it.
Yeah.
You know, like my mom can do them.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
That's probably why I don't spend money in them.
Yeah.
But I think I agree with you on that too.
Yeah.
It's interesting like how it's kind of popular.
Yeah.
You know.
But is it still as popular though? Because I know it first came out.
It was like really popular.
I know. Right?
Yeah.
But is it still?
I don't think so.
Right.
Do you hear people talking about it too much? Not really. Too much.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's kind of expensive.
I actually made a prediction with my friend like a few years ago when it first came out. Like, trust me,
yeah.
hand roll type of business that will die down very soon.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you do the math, like yourself, right?
Yeah.
If you go eat at a hand roll spot and you eat till you're kind of full or whatever, you know, you're looking at like $100.
Yeah.
And then you do the math and you're like, well, if I spend 75 or 80 more, I can get a proper omakase with like a chef who's actually going to do a good job instead of like, you know, it's like, it's basically like making a onigiri, you know, so it's
pretty
like,
much.
It's when you do the numbers, it's to me, I don't think it's really worth it.
Yeah.
From a consumer standpoint.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of, there's nothing to it.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree.
Even when you look at it, it doesn't look good. Right. Like you see people try to photograph them and make them look good. It just doesn't look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's casual and it's very trendy concept. Yeah. I know there are a few concepts popping up in LA too, and I think
what was the Nami Nori or something like that?
Yeah. I went there too. I mean, so I think if you have other location, say sushi restaurant already, and if you have the tip of those fish that you throwing away anyway, then you just take that to hand roll. I think that works. Yeah. But to make single hand roll restaurant just for the sake of it, I think it'll be tough.
I mean, I like a hand roll when it's part of a course. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that, but you know, I've never been to a hand roll spot willingly. I never like woke up and go, I'm gonna go spend my money on a hand roll.
On hand roll. Yeah.
Never. I mean, unless someone was like, I'll pay for it. Yeah. Then I'm gonna go, but like never like.
I mean, you don't hear temaki place in Japan.
I know. I thought about that too. I was like, did that start here? Because I kind of was thinking about it. I was like, I don't ever remember.
I think it's American-made thing.
Is it really?
Yeah. Hand roll.
Like the whole concept of it?
Yeah.
Because I don't think I ever saw one.
I never heard of.
Right?
In Japan.
You're Japanese, right?
Yeah.
No. Because like I never saw it either. Like it never nobody ever brought it up. You know, they would do like the what is it, the kuru-kuru sushi? You know, the kaiten sushi.
Yeah, kaiten sushi.
We would do that, but I never ever remember hand roll ever. Yeah. So that was like kind of odd to me when it came up. You know, you know, do you know what a hand roll is? I had to think about it, and I was like,
there are a few concepts I think a few years ago that keep popping up
in Japan.
No, here.
Oh, here
in the Bay Area, but I think it's still good business, but yeah, interesting.
I agree though. I don't think it has like long-term sustainability.
Yeah. Because there's no really art to it.
No.
I
mean, it doesn't even look like art.
Yeah.
You've seen them. They don't look good, you know? Like, it just doesn't look good.
You just have rice and fish scrap and...
There's no technique to it, basically, you know? And for the price point, it's not cheap.
Expensive, too.
I mean, I think, like, if it was like something you're looking at like a $30 price point, then
Yeah.
like I think it's viable. But
Yeah.
like, you know, most people end up spending like $80, I think.
On hand rolls.
Yeah.
Right. No, I agree.
It's kind of a, you know, I hate to say it, it's kind of a ripoff, you know, right?
Okay. Yeah. No. No. I agree. Cool. 45 minutes more.
Damn.
You said?
Already?
Yeah. Time when the conversation is great, time goes by really quick.
Jesus.
Okay. So back to Hina Yakitori. So you've owned Hina Yakitori SF way longer than you had in Oakland, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that was before the pandemic.
Man, that was like the worst timing, right?
Yeah.
We opened in October of 2019. And so
that's right before
it
the
was
crush.
like the craziest thing. And so, you know, I was super excited about, we had like all these issues prior to opening too, you know, like the sous chef that I had been working with at the old Hina was supposed to be the sous chef with me opening SF. And because the process took so long to open Hina in SF, he got pissed and like he quit on me the month we were supposed to open.
Shit.
And so I had to get like all new people, you know. And so it was like a headache. But then, you know, when we opened, like I've been lucky, right? I've been lucky. We opened, the Chronicle reviewed us. I think we were like maybe one of the first 5 reviews that the new critic, Soleil Ho, covered. And she gave me a really, really, really good review. And when that happened, like the reservations just went crazy. It went from like, you know, we were like kind of busy to like we were just booked out, I think 60 days in advance.
Wow.
Like fully solid. And, you know, this was in 2019.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, wow, I made it. Like we're a success. I was like, this is crazy. I remember telling my mom, I'm like, Mom, I did it. You know, I did it.
Yeah.
You know, we did it, you know.
Yeah.
You know how Japanese moms, they always worry.
Yeah.
And so she was like super happy about that. And then like 2020, I remember like when the COVID thing happened, it was like they had making all these announcements like, you know, businesses need to shut down or whatever. And I remember telling my partner, I was like, dude, that's a joke, dude. I was like, there's no way that that's real. Like nobody believed that shit at that time. And I remember when we closed, and then it was just like everything changed after that.
Yeah.
You know, the COVID thing. It was starting back to zero.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's, do you remember when that was in 2020?
When we reopened for...
No, when you closed.
We closed, I think we might have closed in March. I think we closed in March, yeah.
And then, but in the same year, oh no, they didn't open back up. Maybe until next year, right?
Oh, yeah.
We
I have
weren't
to look
allowed
at I have to look at photos.
Because I remember when I first started working at Oma
Was
in Japantown. That was
21?
Yeah, they hired me in December of 2020.
2020?
And then we started doing 50% capacity in January of 2021.
So I think that was kind of like our timeline.
Yeah, right.
So I think it was 2020. It must have been like later 2020. We were doing takeout. So we were doing like bento. We were doing
like
like
yakitori bento.
Yakitori and karage. We were doing like these karage bentos.
Yeah.
I think that was 20. And we did that up until like sometime in 21. And then we started, like you had just mentioned, we started seating like 50% capacity.
Yeah.
And then like they did the spacing.
Yep.
There was like, you had to be 6 feet between guests or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we could only do like, you know, 4 or 5 people, I think at a time because of the spacing. It was like 2 and then 2 on the one corner and then 2 on the other. So it was like 6 people, I think.
Yeah. How was the business at the time?
I mean, it's, you know, not, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
You know.
But did you fill up the...
Yeah. We did have guests, you know, 6.
Yeah.
It was just 50%, but still.
Yeah.
And then like when we fully reopened, you remember like,
yeah,
it was just like gold rush.
Oh my
Everybody
goodness.
was like,
Oh my goodness.
here's my American X black card. I want that $5,000 bottle of champagne. Everybody was just going
Take my
crazy.
money. Yeah.
And again, I was thinking like, wow, we did it again. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
And then what happened was that 23? Was it?
What happened?
Where everything kind of slowed down again when the big layoffs. Was that 20? It was.
Yeah,
23.
that was the end of 2022.
Was it?
'Cause
It was, right?
Yeah,
23?
yeah. It's interesting because that's when I got lucky with my yacht omakase too.
Was around that time, right? Yeah.
The 2020, no, so that was January of 2022, and I was booked out for like 7 8 months.
Like solid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was good for maybe a year. I mean, the business was still good,
Yeah.
right? And then until the layoff happened.
And then it tailed off.
Yeah, tailed
Same.
off a little bit. 2023 was definitely not as strong as 2022.
Mhm.
It was still good, but do you feel the same?
Yeah.
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 That's 22 was like our best year.
Yeah,
We
for
were
sure.
Like fuck, it was
Man.
crazy.
And also, people wanted to really go out
yeah.
because
They did, because they were
cooped up, right?
Yeah.
From
They went bananas. So we were booked out, and then like 23 happened, and then like, you know, we probably dropped like, I would say 20%. It was like a 20% drop. Noticeable, you know.
in foot traffic, you mean?
Yeah, in
Okay.
bookings, like
Yeah.
we were always booked out Friday and Saturdays, like
Yeah.
easy, like
Yeah.
weeks ahead of time. And then like before we closed, I noticed like, you know, Friday and Saturday wouldn't book up early. And I was like, that's weird. I never experienced that, you know. And so, yeah, we were,
mean,
I
it's
think
a
we were
tough
down like
time.
20% or something like that.
Yeah. Especially for restaurants like yours and ours,
20%'s a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a huge
Yeah.
hit. Very
Because
huge.
Silicon Valley is hugely relying on tech money.
Very much.
Yeah, so when it's good, it's a gold rush.
When they're doing good, we did good.
But when it's
kind of
not,
weird,
where are the customers?
yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, man, it's just, yeah.
So when things are tough in business, right? What do you do? Well, how do you
Cry.
try to get right? Besides that,
Not in front of anybody, though.
Yeah.
You know, when you get home and like, you
call
take
your mom.
yeah, take a
Mom.
shower, like cry
We
in the
don't have
shower.
customers.
But yeah, I mean, you have to like kind of change things up, right? Like, you got to like look at what you're doing, what the cost is, and like reevaluate everything, and like how can you save money? What can we do but maintain quality? Like, what changes can we make? You know, and it just became like, you know, we let go of staff, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need this many people.
Yeah.
It's like, if I work a little bit more, we can do it. And so, you know, you don't cut corners. You just have to like relieve some personnel, unfortunately. And then you take on more of the work.
Yep.
So you can
Just
maintain
save
the
up on
quality.
everything. Yeah.
Because labor is high. You
And
know.
it's only going up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Labor is high, especially for a small restaurant. You
Yeah.
know. It was yeah.
Isn't that so tough? Because it's so easy for laborers to go up, but it's very difficult for business to increase the price.
Yeah, right.
And then customers get pissed.
They get mad. They're like, "Can't you pay the people better?" And you're like, "Okay, well, I gotta, you know, change the menu price." Then they come in and go, "What the hell happened? This used to be, you know." And
That's really interesting dynamics in human
it
you know,
is.
psychology.
Yeah.
Because your labor is going up. Like, we pay you more, but you know, I don't want to pay more
Yeah.
to eat.
I mean, because I could pay them. It doesn't. I don't know if it really balances out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I pay you like 40 an hour and
Yeah.
I have to jack up the menu price, you know, maybe less people will come in. You know.
Restaurant's tough.
It is tough. That's why people always ask me like for advice, and my first thing I say is, "Don't do it."
Yeah, don't do it. Yeah.
It's like, you don't want this.
Yeah.
You know, one of my friend's kid, right? He's like, my son wants to be a chef. I'm like, don't ever let him do it. You know.
So would you advise people to not to get into the industry?
I mean, man, unless you really, really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if it's just like something you think you want to do, it's a tough lifestyle.
It is.
You know,
Yeah.
on your body, your mind, and it's stressful. So
you
depending
gotta love
on
it.
how you can deal with stress, you know how some people are in the kitchen, like they're like assholes because they don't know how to handle pressure.
Those pressures, yeah.
So kind of depends on that kind
So
of
easy
stuff.
to become hostile and be not nice to
Yeah,
other people.
like you take it out on people and stuff.
Yeah.
I've never been like that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't seem like it. You seem kind of
Thank
chill.
you. Yeah, I try not to.
But I mean, I never worked with you yet. But
We'll see.
yeah, you might be a dick and I don't know it. But that, like, you people are different. Like you hang out with them outside and you're like, oh man, he's a good dude.
It's different.
And then you work with him in the kitchen. You're like, damn.
Also,
it's like night and day.
But also, we want to be understanding too, because I clearly notice, especially my staff, when they're under a lot of stress, they're different.
Yeah.
So I don't want to push.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when it's super busy and I step into the kitchen and one of these guys is a little more stressed out, and at first sight he looked like he's not nice to me, but I don't take it personally anymore. I'm just okay. He's just going through a lot. Yeah. You know, let's wait until we finish the business.
Yeah.
And,
it is interesting to, find out what certain people stress out about. You know, like one guy who worked for me was just, lost his shit because like he did something wrong, whatever it was. Like maybe like undercooked the rice or something.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, like just do another one, man. Who cares? Like, you know?
It's so interesting. Everyone deals with those issues differently.
Yeah.
Isn't that so interesting?
Yeah.
Because like you said, exactly. You might not be too worried about that one mistake your employee made, but he might be thinking about it all day.
It's just like,
and you have no idea why that person is pissed off.
It's
like,
that's
are you mad at me?
That's the hardest thing about like running a business, right? Is like dealing with all the different personalities.
Yeah.
That's why the best thing was like when it was just me and Justin and it was like nobody else, if I made a mistake, it was on me.
Yeah.
It was like, I just remember I had a guy that worked for me and, he did something wrong in front of the customer.
Yeah.
It was like they had an allergy, whatever it was. I can't remember. Like, let's just say they were allergic to onion. And so he was supposed to take the onion out, but he forgot and gave it to him with an onion. And Justin saw it and he was like, oh, whoa, hold up. They're allergic. And like, he got tripped out by that, right? Like he was so upset about like that whole thing. Like when we were done at the end of the night, we always would say bye and we'd go out the front door. He didn't even show up. He just left out the back door. And like he just gave us the silent treatment for like 2 days or something. And I was like, is he upset about like, you know what I mean? It's like these little things like that. Everybody's different,
Yeah.
It's tough.
Do you think you enjoy dealing with those things? And that the reason I'm asking you is because I learned to actually enjoy that process. That because there's so much to learn about people in the restaurant industry. I don't think there's any other business that you'll learn about people more than in restaurants, because you deal with people. I think
so too.
Right? You
on
deal
both
with
sides.
servers, you deal with customers, and you always try to gauge what other people are thinking. Customers, your employee, your boss, right? Do you have you enjoyed that?
I think, for the most part, yes.
Yeah.
I think what I prefer is a more steady temperament. Like I don't like unpredictability. Yeah. So like if you're a dick, just be a dick all day. Like don't be nice for like one day and then you know what I mean? Like I'd rather deal with that. Like so I know you're an asshole. I can figure it out. But like don't be nice 2 days and then like the third day you're just like this raging asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like but other than that, like I love like interacting with guests.
Yep.
Which growing up, like I don't know if I said it earlier, I was like really shy and like I'm not say antisocial, but I didn't really like to socialize. Now I love it, right? When the customers come in, I'm like scoping them out, like, okay, this is an interesting group, let's see what they're all about. And you go talk to them and like find out what they do, and like, you know what I mean? You become well versed in like so many different things,
I'm like that too.
Right?
Yeah. I think you're an introvert, are you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right, me too.
But the restaurant makes me not, right?
That's exactly right. Yep.
So you pretty much like stay home and like do your thing.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah. I don't normally want to go out.
Yes.
That's important.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
But like the restaurant just, it's almost, I feel like it's kind of a weird way to say it, but I feel like I'm acting.
No, true.
Not saying I'm being who I'm not, but it's like a show, and you come and you have this different personality.
Is that why you like cooking? Because you come from music, right?
I don't know. I think I like the challenge of it at first, but it's like a performance, you know.
So is that similar to music?
It is,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
In a sense.
I always would look at it that way, like, you know, when we're behind in the kitchen and we're about to come out here.
Yeah.
Behind the curtain, right? And everybody's waiting for you. I always feel like I'm coming out to conduct, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to do this show for the people and make sure they have a good time.
I can see that.
Because it's not, you know, anybody can do it, but you have to show love to everybody and make them feel special, right? Because they're spending a certain amount of money, and so you kind of want to like make everybody feel at home, right? Like to make them want to come back. And so I've kind of like figured out this way to get it to the point where I'm like almost friends with the customer. You know what I mean? Like I have people coming back, and like I found like, so I got married last year, and like some of the people at the wedding were like customers who became friends.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I try to be cool with everybody. You know what I mean?
No, restaurant industry, there's no boundary really between your work relationship and friendship. Your friends are your colleagues and customers. And
I mean, whether you like it or not, it just, you know, it was, it just happens.
I think the life becomes really wholesome that way.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't trade it for anything unless I can win like a couple $1 million. I would take that. But it's been fun, you know. It's done a lot for me.
Yeah,
it's done a lot.
Okay.
For my own personal growth.
Yeah,
I think I've become a better person. Seen a lot,
I feel
lot
that
of
way
things,
too.
right?
Yeah, you learn so much.
It puts you in like that's the one thing I think that I like about it is every day is not the same. Like we can do the same menu every day for a month. Yeah. But every day is going to be different. Something's going to happen, right? It's never the same thing, and so it's exciting to me.
You become more street smart.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
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 Because you deal with people.
Yeah. Like, you know, you come in, you could tell when someone's not having a good day.
Oh, yeah.
You can see it.
You can tell in the first 5 seconds.
You can
the moment you step into
you can feel it.
Yep.
You know, and you could feel when someone doesn't want to talk to you. You could tell quick, right? Very, very quick.
That's,
you know?
I think you become better at it as you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny, like, you know, during the whole pandemic, we talked to nobody. Remember? It was like, and when we finally reopened Hina, like, I forgot how to talk to people. And it was just like, you know what I mean? I was like trying to be funny. And like, I remember like saying some shit to the customer. And then after they left, I was analyzing what the conversation was. And I was like, why the fuck did I say that? I was like,
you're not the only one.
That was just stupid, you know? It was just like trying to get used to talking to people again.
I feel like all chefs have that moment.
Like coming back. Right.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But that's the one thing I love the most is the customers. That's the best thing.
For me too. I think that's the one thing that keeps me going.
The customers.
Yeah, feedback.
Isn't that like it's a crazy high, right? Like when you know that the customer had a good time and you're just like, wow, man,
that fuels you,
right?
Yeah, really fuels you.
It's pretty good feeling.
Yeah,
like it's like its own drug. You know what I mean?
Kind of, in a way. Yeah. I mean, without that, it's really hard to keep going just for the sake of that art,
right?
The food, right?
It's kind of we like to please people.
Yeah,
I think that's like the thing, right? Like that's our thing. We like to please people.
Some chefs like to believe that I don't have to.
Yeah.
But I think they all need that, right?
Yeah.
That validation.
Yeah.
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 I think that's one misconception a lot of guests have, that we can never get enough compliments. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Right?
I feel weird about that stuff.
What do you mean?
When people give compliments and stuff.
Yeah.
It makes me feel uncomfortable still.
Why?
I don't know.
Do you like it though?
I guess I do, like
Yeah.
when I get home,
Mm-hmm.
but like at the time, like it's just awkward for me. Like
Because
I don't know, it's just weird. Like someone's like in front, oh my god, it was so fucking awesome, kind of. You know, I'm like, yeah, thank you. You know, it's just like a little bit too much for me at the time.
is that because I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I think the reason is especially for experienced chefs like you or my team members, they know their stuff is good. So when you get the compliment that it's good, I mean, like,
Maybe.
yeah, like I know it's
Well,
good.
also I think
So-
like for me, I think it's because it's like the night's not over yet, so
What
I
is
can't
not over yet?
like the night, like the.
Oh yeah.
I think it's hard for me to take it in at that time, but
Mhm.
like at the end,
Mm.
then I know I did my job.
Yeah.
And like I can like sit there and like think
Mm.
about it and go, okay, wow, they liked it, and then it feels good.
Mm.
But I think like at the time, like during service or whatever, it's kind of weird for me.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like to eat like my own food too. Like I don't know if you're like that.
You don't like to eat your own food?
Mm-mm.
Why not?
I don't know. Like when I was in Tokyo, right, working at
Yeah.
the place, my boss was like that too. And he would make stuff for us and put it on the counter.
Mhm.
And like we would eat it. And I'd be like, "You're not going to eat it?" And he'd just be like, "No." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "I just don't."
Probably it doesn't taste good for him
Maybe.
because he makes his own.
I mean, but I thought about it this way and why I was wondering why I don't like want to sit there and eat my own stuff. And it was like, like if you're an artist, like you paint, right, or whatever you
Mhm.
paint, do you think you would have like your own paintings all over your own house?
True.
Would that be kind of weird?
Yeah.
Like you come into your house and you're
Yeah.
like, look at my, it's, I think maybe it's something like that. For
No,
me.
I agree. So I don't like to eat my own sushi.
Yeah. See?
Yeah, because I know my ingredients are good,
Yeah.
but for some reason it doesn't taste
It's
good.
right. See, I think,
Yeah, I'd rather go to cheap restaurant and
See?
eat. Yeah,
I think it's because we do it. We know it's good, but we do it for other people.
other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you agree that it doesn't actually taste as good?
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
For
I know
some
it's,
reason.
but I know it's good, but
Yeah.
it doesn't make me like. I would rather eat somebody else doing it.
Yeah, yeah. It tastes so different. Like it
It just seems weird to eat your own like creation.
work.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just like it's just weird, right?
It
it's
is.
kind of weird. I don't know how to explain it, but it would be weird to sit there if I make something, put it on there, and go, "God damn, this is so good," and like eat it, and it'd be weird, right?
Yeah.
That'd
No.
be kind of weird. Like if I really enjoyed my own shit like that,
Yeah.
that'd be like
Yeah.
a dickhead, right? It's weird. You meant to see some guy liking his own food that much, right? This would be
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. There's some.
But you do know that, like, when you do it, you're like, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
It's good.
I mean, I eat that out of necessity. Like after long day, I have nothing to eat, then
Yeah.
I make myself some sushi.
yeah.
But I don't go like, oh, damn, this is so.
This is the
freaking
greatest shit on earth. Yeah. With a heart on, you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm so fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
It's a weird feeling.
It is a weird thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather have somebody make something that's not as good. I'd probably
No,
feel
I agree.
better about
I agree.
that. Yeah.
It's just a simple like. 1 hour 10. Okay.
1 hour 10?
Okay.
20 more minutes.
Yeah, I wanna. Okay, so because I wanna ask you, basically, straight up why you closed Hina Yakitori.
Sure. Yeah.
So can you walk me through?
Yeah. Okay. So, so the reason why Hina closed, there's many, and it's a combination of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So the group that I was part of, they owned Junie and Handroll Project.
Mm-hmm.
When they opened Handroll Project, it did pretty good because it was new.
Yeah.
It was a very new concept, and so it did really well.
Mm-hmm.
And so immediately those guys started thinking like, we need to expand this
Mm-hmm.
thing. And they had been wanting to push me out of Hina.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we want that space for a hand roll. Can you get out, kind of thing?
Mhm.
And like my other partner who's part of that, he was like, dude, we just had a great year. That was like our best year. And you want to put us out?
And this what year was this?
22, I think it started around that time. They started wanting to get me out, you know, and like they wanted to put this hand roll where Hina was.
Yeah.
Because it was doing good, right? And what they didn't really think about was like that the hand roll sales was just because it was new and like, you know, it kind of tapered off. And then they kind of switched up on that. But they were still kind of not wanting me to do it. You know, I didn't get along so well with like, you know, with Jeffrey. We didn't really have like the greatest rapport.
Yeah.
You know, and so we had our issues.
Was he involved in the operation of Hina Yakitori?
No.
Okay.
He wasn't. And I think maybe that might have been some of the cause of it. You know, I think he wanted to be more involved with it than he was. I think. It's hard to tell. But, you know, they had been wanting to get me out for a while. And so come 23, like we had talked earlier, sales went down, you know.
In 23.
Yeah, 23. Yeah. It started to get kind of slow, especially in the summer. You know, we were down like 25, 20, 25, 30% or whatever it was. And I just got tired of it at that point, you know. They wanted it. I was like, fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. And I'm just going to close. You know, if that's what you want, then you can have it.
So the pressure.
Yeah.
They were pushing you out, basically.
For a while. And it just felt like a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Because I had built that up and we had gotten a lot of recognition. You know, we got like, you know, top 50 restaurant in the Bay in the Chronicle, top 10 splurge, top 10 Japanese, all these like things. And so I was like, I got all of this and like, you want to kick me out? Okay, fuck it. I'm tired of this. So I told Adolfo, who's one of my partners, I was like, you know what? Let's just close. We'll close in September or whatever the hell it was. And we'll just announce it. And next thing you know, when we announce it, everybody wants to come, right? Yeah. And so what became like this, we're going to close in like 2 weeks thing became like, we're going to close in 2 months, right? Because it was like that full. Yeah. It was insane. Like, it was just kind of like we reopened again. We had like 100 people on the waiting list every day to come in, right? And I'm like thinking like, well, why didn't you do that like earlier? So it was super booked out. And then they were like, damn, we should just stay open. And I was just like, no, we're not. No, we're not. You know, and that's it. And so that kind of how we just ended
and
it.
This was 2023?
2023, yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I saw that post, it was shocking.
Yeah. I mean, everybody was.
Yeah.
They were like, whoa.
And it was pretty quick announcement.
It was very quick. Yeah. It was a quick decision. I mean, I had been thinking about it and like I had been going back and forth. And I was thinking prior to that, I was like, if I can just get one more year, I'd be good. You know, just give me one more year. Yeah. But then I was just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'll shut it down and I'll do something again. And so, you know, just shut it down. Yeah. And, you know, we booked out solid for like 2 months or whatever, 3 months, whatever it was. And then, I went to Thailand for like 6 months. Like,
yeah, I heard from our mutual friend.
Yeah, I was gone for like 6 months. Yeah.
That's cool. How was it? How was the Thailand?
Thailand's great.
Yeah.
You got to come out.
Yeah, I have to.
When I'm out there, you come out there.
Yeah.
With Jeff's always there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I want to go. Really.
It's
I want to go.
It's fun.
Yeah. You know, it's such a small industry.
It is.
You know how many people we
mutually know?
Yeah.
Well, a lot. Right?
There's so many.
Yeah. I mean, we're in a small area. You know what I mean? Like the Bay, it's small. The community's not.
I like
that
big.
Though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very tight.
It's not like New York, where it's like uber competitive, right? It's like here, you know, you do something and you're pretty good at it. You can stay open. Yeah. You know. Yeah. You can stay open.
I like that. I like that about the Bay Area. There's more community. This is more community-driven type of place.
I think a lot of the people, you know, your customers will support you long term, you know. Yeah. I noticed like we always had a lot of the same people coming in.
Oh, yeah.
You know, always. They come in and it feels good, right? Yep. When you see somebody you know. And
I'm sure we have a lot of mutual customers
for sure.
Yeah, 100%. For sure. Yeah.
That's always the best though. Like
that's the best thing.
You know, when you get customers that like have been coming in.
Yeah.
It's relaxing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you're like, oh yes, now I can fuck up. No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, but I know you still keeping this concept.
I still have the name. Yeah, yeah.
I saw you've done a lot of collaborations.
I do a lot of collaborations. I still do private events. I'm doing something at Berkeley Bowl.
I saw.
Yeah.
The bento.
I do that on Mondays.
Yeah. You're still doing it on a regular basis?
Yeah, I go there on Monday.
Nice.
I do it on Mondays. And then
I gotta go check it out.
yeah, maybe you live out that way. You should come by.
Yeah. Monday, right?
Yeah, Monday.
So it was yesterday.
Yeah, but it was President's Day.
Oh.
That's why I wasn't there.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm usually there on Mondays. So I keep that going. And I'm trying to... I have another collabo event I'm doing at the end of the month. And then I think I might be going out to DC for
DC?
Yeah, for a collabo thing that I'm doing.
Man.
But I'm trying to like kind of...
Stay in the Bay Area, man.
No, I am. So I'm trying to finalize this. I need to make sure like it's going to happen. So there's this thing going in San Francisco. And I think I'm like, 90% confident about it. So I don't not yet where I want to say it. I need to talk to this guy this week. And I want to be like, dude, let me know. Is it going to happen?
Gonna happen?
So if it happens, then it'll be like this thing in SF. So izakaya.
Nice.
Izakaya, yeah. But that's what I'm looking at right now.
In DC?
No, DC. No, in SF.
Oh, this is SF.
Izakaya,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
The DC thing is a collabo thing that I'm doing with a friend of mine. He owns Akiko's.
Yeah.
Do you know Akiko's?
SF, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know Ray? Ray's the owner.
No.
So he helped open this restaurant in DC. I think it's kind of like an Akiko's, but they also have a full kitchen. And we're gonna do like this collabo thing, like omakase collabo for like I think 8 people.
Cool stuff.
Like each time, something like that.
And you doing yakitori?
I'm doing yakitori. Yeah. So he has this other restaurant in SF called Friends Only. And
you've done a collab, right?
We did a collab last month. Yeah. I think it was last month, where we kind of combined both concepts, and it did very well. So
nice, man. So you keep doing this collab thing.
Yeah.
And but I'm really curious to know. It's actually one of my question lists. Yakitori is still relatively new concept in the States.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, compared to sushi, it's still
very, very.
It's very good. I like it, but just from what I've seen, it's still there's so much more room for growth. How do you?
I mean, so
it's a consistent education that you have to do.
It's tough. So
right,
like for sushi to be accepted, it took like 40 years. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was a kid, white people didn't eat it.
Yeah.
They're like, ooh, raw fish. Now all they want is raw fish, right? Yeah. But like, we have guys like a Yakitori guy. He's very helpful in like spreading the word. Like, you know Yakitori guy?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So he's good with that social media stuff. And so he educates people. And I think like, because it's so new, I think a lot of people are intimidated by it. You know what I mean? They're like, they're kind of hesitant to try it because they're not quite sure what to expect. It's like, what is it? It's just grilled chicken. Like,
So how do you change their mind? So I think for a lot of Americans, when they think about chicken, they don't think it's expensive stuff.
They don't.
And that's to be fair, right?
Yeah.
For me as a Japanese growing up, I know there's art to chicken.
Yeah.
So I understand the higher price point. But
it's tough.
How do you educate them?
It's a tough sell.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, that's why I started incorporating different things into it. So it's not just chicken. I would put like seafood elements in there, wagyu, different things.
I saw
to kind of like,
too.
Just to kind of like make it like,
that's smart.
So where they're like, oh, okay, I can pay that much now. Yeah. Because like, in Japan, you can get like a nice chicken and then charge like $90 or whatever. Because in Japan, they know. And then so the part comes when I talk to the customer and I explain like, you know, the charcoal that we use. You know, we use that Kishu Binchotan, right? It's like $500 a box. Okay.
They don't know how expensive
right?
it is, right? It's tough.
That's why I have to explain what the charcoal is and all this stuff and the ingredients, and like it's not cheap, and the labor, because it takes time to do these things. You know, it's time consuming, and explaining like why we charge this much.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, some people get it, some people don't. You know, sometimes at the end of the day, they're just like, it's just chicken. You know, it is, but you know,
it takes time.
It takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such
it is very new here, especially in LA. There's more of an established like Japanese culture there. You know, like you go to Torrance, Gardena, they have that stuff. So most people know what it is, but up here it's still new.
You know, it's a very noble thing what you're doing in terms of spreading the culture and Japanese culture, because see, right now there's so many sushi omakase restaurants in the Bay Area, right? And probably most of them are doing relatively good. Yeah. And this wouldn't have happened a decade ago, 20 years ago. Right?
No.
And see, a lot of people think that, we're doing great because we are great. And that's actually not completely true. We're just kind of standing on the giants from the past. Yeah. Right? What they built in the past. You know, there was California roll. Yeah. Three decades ago. And then, you know, Nobu came out many years ago, and you know, Nobu-san is spreading Japanese food culture, and then finally we have the basics to accept things like sushi omakase, right?
I mean, that's why it took like 40 years, right? Yeah. Like you said, it was gradual. Like, oh, I can eat a California roll. Yeah. You know, what's after that? You know, and then like you introduce all these small elements. I think Yakitori will get there eventually. I kind of thought it might have been there by now, but it's still relatively...
I think we need more players.
Yeah.
That's what I
think so too.
Yeah.
The more people that do it would be better, you know.
Why don't you teach?
Dude, not that many people, right?
Why don't you teach?
I got this one guy who came out here from Dallas to work with me. Yeah. And he's still here, so he helps me out like with all my events and stuff. So
that's cool.
I'm going to show him more stuff. But it's hard to find people who want to do it. You know what I mean? Because it's like if you do it, like your options are you're going to have to open your own shop. Yeah. Because there's not a lot of places to work. You know what I mean? Yeah. And
it's still very niche, right?
Yeah.
Yakitori, you learn how to do yakitori, but where else can you use that skill?
It's tough.
It's tough, yeah.
Like here in the Bay Area, like there's so many sushi spots, right? Yeah. So if you had that skill set, you can be like, well, I think I'll go here or I'll go work there. But like if your thing is like, you know, izakaya, yakitori, like that kind of stuff, it's kind of, you're very, very limited. Yeah. I think maybe in New York you might have more of a chance to like
or LA.
Yeah, or LA. Yeah, but in the Bay Area not too much. It's pretty tough. Mm-hmm.
So when are we doing our collabs?
I'm down. We're gonna do it. So when do you want to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's this spring.
Like April, May?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can definitely do that. Yeah. So let's talk more about that. But I'm glad you're still doing what you're doing with the yakitori. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no choice. So I really sat down and thought about this about 5 months ago. I was like, should I get a regular job? And like I looked like, you know, and I'm like, I can't do nothing, right? There's nothing else I could do. And so I'm kind of like, I'm stuck. Everything is so modern now, you know what I mean? You like the requirements for jobs is like,
what do you mean modern?
Like everybody has to like go through a whole new like, you know, engineering or you know, everything is like all this computer related stuff.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, well, I have no choice now. Yeah. You know? I mean, I'm closer to death now than I've ever been, right?
Dude, you're too young to think about death.
Yeah. But no, I'm happy where I'm at. Yeah.
That's good.
It's a great year, man.
Yeah.
2025. You having a good year so far?
Yeah. It's been great. It's been great, thankfully. You've been doing already this year few, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's been a good year.
Yeah. Do you reach out to them, or how do you set up those collabs?
Kind of, yeah. Like, like, you know how you and I, we talk
Yeah.
occasionally?
Yeah, we did.
Just like that.
Uh-huh.
And like somebody will like be like, hey,
Let's do it.
we should do that. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh, thanks for asking. You know, just like just now, like you asked me, right? I'm like, thanks for asking.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
let's do it. Let's
You just have to
definitely
break the ice, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've always wanted to do. I actually brought this up in my team.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, about skewers.
I always wanted to do it too. I was like, fuck, man, I wanted to do it on the yacht.
Well, let's do it.
You know?
No, let's do it, right?
Because like it's open air, right? And I was like,
Can you bring that grill though?
yeah, you could bring it, but you have to do it on the deck or something, right? Like
Yeah.
in the back.
Can you cook?
You could
Like
cook.
it's-
Yeah. I've never done it. Okay, I've never done it,
Okay, we'll do that.
but
We'll do that.
I was thinking like I
1,000%.
thought about this before. Like
Tell me.
I thought
Why
about
didn't you
this.
tell me that idea?
I don't know. I was shy. It was like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you first started, I think.
Yeah.
Around that time, and
Yeah.
like
Shall
you know,
we
I'm
do
watching you
yakitori?
doing it. I was like, damn, that's fucking cool. I was like, fuck, man, I'd love to do like a yakitori on that.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll ask me, and like,
You know what? Yakitori on a yacht, no one has
No
ever
one's
done
done
it.
it.
I guarantee you. No single
nobody's done
one
it.
person in the world has done it.
But I thought that would have been cool. I was like, they're not asking me. So
Hina
So-
Yakitori and Daiji Yacht Club, Yakitori on a yacht.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
that shit would be fun.
Yeah.
How many people do you sit on that thing? Like usually Like-
Normally like 6 to 8.
6 to 8? Oh,
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. So we can do multiple turns.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I'll be the server.
No, you would do like a collabo, right?
Yeah, but I want to let you cook.
No, we both have to do something, man.
Sushi and yakitori?
Yeah.
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 Oh, that would be super cool. So now you're doing collab,
Mm-hmm.
but are you going to bring back Hina Yakitori physical location at some point?
That's tough. Trying to possibly do an izakaya.
Izakaya?
Yeah.
Okay.
More or less. With me not so much in the kitchen all day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be like training somebody. It's not sustainable for me
Just for you to
to be in the kitchen.
do everything, yeah.
Not
Yeah.
at my advanced age. It's tough.
Well, remember, age is just a number.
It is until your body feels it. Like, you know.
So what do you feel in your body?
Dude, you know, like your feet, your knees, your back, and like your neck. Dude, I sounds like that song. Like, what was that song? It kind of sounds like that, right? But like, yeah. All of the above. You know, it's just like
But can't you sit and do yakitori?
dude, it's just that, it's just like, it's, you know, you do that for like 6 hours straight, right?
Yeah.
And it's just taxing on like,
It does.
you know, you stand in one spot and,
Yeah.
you know, you go home and you smell like smoke, and then like all the charcoal smoke goes up your nose too.
Yeah. It
It's just-
cooks you, right?
It's not healthy,
Yeah.
you know?
I
It's not
heard
healthy.
it's actually not healthy.
Yeah, it's not healthy. And then you go home and like you take a shower and you just feel like you got beat up, you know?
Yeah.
I think like when I was younger, it wasn't as bad. But now like it's just too much. And I'm like, I don't know how much longer I can do that, you know, working in the kitchen. Like I could come in and be like the host, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like make sure everything's going and like
Yeah.
check the menu, check the, you know, but like to be there from the morning and then cooking everything.
So you open to be involved in restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't want to take all that responsibility.
I don't want to be hands-on in the kitchen all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather like
I'll keep that in mind.
train somebody. And
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Okay. So just keep this as a pop-up for now?
For now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hina's tough. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Even for like the private dinners. Like I have a private dinner I'm doing this Friday, right? That's for like 8 people. And
Are you
I go-
going to someone's home?
Yeah, I go to somebody's
Okay.
house. And so that thing I already have to start on tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to go shopping tomorrow and buy everything, and everything will be done by Thursday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is like a lot of work.
You just stick everything in. Yeah.
You know?
So are you going to bring that grill?
I bring a
someone's
grill.
house?
I have like portable, like these ones that
Yeah.
I usually keep them in my car
Yeah.
in the back, you know. But I'll bring that and set up there. I have my own plates, you know. You bring the plates.
But do they
and stuff like
let
that.
you cook inside the house?
So it depends, right? Like if they have a really good vent
Ventilation,
system,
yeah.
then I'll use it. But if not, then I just go, can I sit up on the porch? And then
Yeah.
I'll set up outside and do
Yeah.
it.
That thing is gonna smell.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
We did this one in L.A. This was a good one. It was in Beverly Hills, right? It was this like nice ass place up in the hills, and they had like a vent system that just popped up, like it went, and it sucked the smoke in like right in the front. It didn't go anywhere else, and like it was just as high powered as like a restaurant, if not more. And at the end of the night, like they didn't know like this shit's gonna be dirty. At the end of the night, like the filter on that duct system, dude, it was hella dirty. Wow. It was like all oil, because of the smoke, and like, man, we had to wipe that shit up, and like, with these rags. It was a mess. But that was a fun party. Oh, it was a fun party.
It was?
Yeah, it was
That's
fun.
good. We should do omakase with the yakitori.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sushi and chicken together.
I'd do it.
Yeah.
For sure.
We get a lot of non-fish requests.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. No. Hey, I want to book sushi, but one of our guests cannot eat raw fish, so can you do like vegetarian beef? So we just do wagyu and vegetarian menus. Yeah.
Oh, man, hit me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. We had this one time somebody messaged us and was like, I really love what you're doing, but I don't like chicken. And I was just like, well, I think you got the wrong concept,
Why do
man.
you even love what you're doing?
They're like, can you do fish? And I'm like, I think you want sushi. I don't think you like want to eat here. Yeah. Weird requests. Some of those things I kind of miss, like, people just asking ridiculous stuff,
I guess you get that kind of questions all the time on social media.
You could get a lot of weird stuff too, for sure, right?
Yeah.
Like,
on social media, you mean?
Yeah. Like people asking you like weird stuff.
What's like the most? What kind of question do you get, or like inquiries you get?
It's just like, what is the menu like?
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, man, does anybody use the internet? Like, you used it to message me. Like, you can see what the menu is. It's online, like, what does it look like? Or, like, you're on Instagram, you see my page, you can see what it looks like. But, you have to answer it, like, properly. You know what I mean? But, like, it's always, like, some weird stuff like that. It's like, you just used the internet to contact me. And, like, you couldn't take the time to,
I think some people are just so lazy.
You think that's what it is?
I think so. Yeah, because they go through the message and...
Because for me, if I do my best to where I don't have to ask anybody anything, you know what I mean? I'm going to like do some research. I guess that's just me, but like, what days are you open? Like, like this or like that. It's like, dude.
What's like the weirdest questions that you've ever got?
Fuck. It's probably, man, somebody asking for like a, what was it? Like a vegan menu.
Yeah.
Like that, it's just like, why would you ask that? Like, what we specialize in, you know what I mean? And so.
But that might be opportunity though, because that person might have a vegan guest. Yeah. But probably that person actually likes chicken.
But it's just tough. And then like, it'll be like gluten free and like, and it's like, I don't set up like that. And so it's like, you got to do a whole new thing just for like one person. Like, you like marinate ikura, right? And like show you.
You use ikura a lot, right?
I did use it, yeah. And so you would have to use a different thing like tamari or whatever. And it just doesn't taste the same,
it doesn't taste good.
It's not the same. And so we always get those
gluten is umami, right? Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Dude, like you go to Japan and you say gluten free, they don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Right? Like my uncle didn't even know what like being a vegan is, right? So like one of my brother's friends is a vegan, okay? And my brother was just in Japan visiting my uncle. He brought one of his friends, and my uncle's taking him out, and my brother's telling him like, yeah, my friend's a vegan, and my uncle's like, because he's like almost 80, okay? He's old school. He's like, wait, what do you mean? Like, he doesn't eat like. He doesn't eat this and that. What is that? He had no clue what it was.
I think a lot of Asians people just, especially Asians, they grew up eating everything.
Yeah, right.
So it's easy to work with.
I mean, like, do you tell someone like gluten free in Japan? You
have nowhere to eat.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like everything has gluten in it.
You
Pretty
eat grass.
much. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah,
I'll give you some onions. Right?
pretty much.
Yeah.
So you were the second guest of this All About Chefs
Mhm.
podcast. Do you have anyone that you have in mind I should bring over?
Yeah, I think I have a few.
Okay. Do you want to give me some recommendations?
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a few.
Do you have someone on top of your head right now?
Ray is a good one.
Ray.
Ray, who owns
Okay.
Akiko's. You should meet him.
Okay. Is he a good guy?
He's a good guy.
Okay. I
Yeah.
trust you.
He'd be a good one. Yeah.
Ray, you said, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I heard about Akiko.
Yeah, I could totally. And you should meet him. He's a good guy.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't met him.
What is he? Like,
Actually, you know who might be a good one too is I don't know if he has time to do it. Is Akira-san at Yoshizumi.
I thought about it. So maybe this is very Japanese of me.
Yeah.
But you speak Japanese, right?
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like very wakazo,
Yeah.
right? So
It might be a little bit different for him.
yeah. So I don't want to. I think it would be easier for someone like you to interview him.
Yeah.
But
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, there is a seniority thing.
The senpai.
and- Yeah, senpai.
Yeah.
I mean, I sent my employees there, and
Yeah.
they actually talked about the restaurants. I think
Yeah.
he knows
Yeah.
the restaurant.
Because I'm good friends with him actually.
Really?
My mom gives him yuzu.
Can
so-
you introduce me? I mean, I've been there. I've been
Yeah.
there, and I sent my employees there.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he knows that I
For sure he
exist.
does. For sure he does.
Yeah.
He knows what's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a good guy, man. He's a really good dude.
Does he speak good English?
I always speak to him in Japanese,
Oh, okay.
but I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
That's the one thing I miss having like my normal like salary.
Mm-hmm.
Is like I used to go to Yoshizumi like every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Like I would go seasonally.
Yeah.
And like now that I don't have that, like I haven't been there in like over
Yeah.
a year.
I mean, he's super expensive now
It's
too.
pretty pricey.
Yeah.
I think it's like 400.
Yeah. $350 or $400.
And it's like, I mean, but you put the tax and tip. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's pretty expensive.
and you buy a drink. It's like
Yeah.
500. You know,
Akira-san, Yoshizumi-san.
he would be a good one.
Yeah. I think so. Is there anyone else? Ray, Akira, Yoshizumi,
Oh, you know who's a really good one? He'd be funny too. Is Rob.
Rob.
Rob Lim. He owns this restaurant called Lily on Clement. It's a Vietnamese restaurant.
Okay.
Do you know that place? It's
No.
pretty good. But he's a good character. He'd be a fun interview.
Really?
Yeah. He'd be a fun interview. I think he'd be really fun. But you might have to go over there to do it.
Oh, yeah.
He lives in the East Bay.
Okay.
He lives in the East Bay. I don't know if he would come to Los Altos.
Thanks for driving all the way here
Nah,
today.
man, it's
by
all
the way.
good.
Yeah.
I wanted to see this place anyways. Like I
Uh-huh.
looked at the photos. I was like, I need to see what this looks like. It looks good.
Yeah, right.
This is like a very well-made restaurant. It's probably like one of the, I think like for sushi restaurants, I think it's probably one of the best ones I've seen here in the States.
That was my first impression when I stepped in
in the
to
States,
this restaurant.
for
yeah.
sure.
Not even just in state, even in Japan today. This counter,
Like
you don't
this
see
is,
this.
you don't, yeah.
You
It's
know?
very well made.
Yeah.
I was just like really, it was better than I expected. Like you look on the photos, you can see a little, but
Yeah.
it's hard to really tell like
Mhm.
what it really looks like until
Even the
you
lightings
step
and
in.
sound system and
You know,
everything.
I didn't know what to, and then like, you know, even the front door is well made when you come in, you
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
everything. It's
Mhm.
just, you know, the first thing I thought was like 3 million, 4 million here,
Mhm.
easy for this.
Yeah. How many views do we have on YouTube?
The title of the video is
2.5, right? Yeah. We have like 20 millions, 10 millions. 55
For what?
million views, the shorts, right?
55 million? Holy shit.
That topped the Malibu one, right?
Is that monetized? Wow.
Does YouTube give you money for shorts? Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
That was a dope footage though with the drone.
Yeah.
That's cool. I saw this they were doing behind the scenes for this like short film that I had seen, and like a short film, yeah, and like a lot of the scenes I didn't realize that they were using a drone, like inside this house, you know, and like I didn't know they can do that kind of stuff with it, you know. They were following this dog like behind, like the dog was on the ground, the drone was like up here, and it was like following the dog throughout the house, but it looked like it was through the dog's viewpoint, you know, and I was like, holy shit, they did that with a drone. They had a guy with the, you know, the, yeah.
Okay, I think we're done.
You got it done?
Thanks for chatting with me today.
It was a lot of
pleasure
fun,
meeting
man. I'm
you.
glad I got to speak with you. And,
Yeah, we haven't actually met.
Yeah,
before
we
in
spoke
person.
for like a few minutes
Yeah.
when you were there.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is like I became good friends with Yen after that.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So from
After-
meeting her there, and you know what's even funnier is that she lives next door to me pretty much.
Next door.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like my complex is here. Her complex is like the next one over. So I can walk to her front door
Damn.
like in 5 minutes. It's like literally, it's just like right there. So we found out like, I think like I saw her post something and I was like, that kind of looks like
My neighbor.
this street. Like I was like, hey, do you like live over here? She's like, yeah. I go, dude. I was like, I live on the next street over, you know. And so it's like, we live like next to each other. But
She was here too.
she's cool, man.
Yeah, she's cool. Yeah.
She's super cool.
She actually, she brought him over to
Oh, you know
this
her?
collaboration.
Through
Yeah.
Yen.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I met, yeah, shout out to Yen.
Yeah.
I met Taku through Yen. Yeah. She's a connector.
You actually, you should have her on, dude.
I want to.
Yeah.
You want to come?
I mean, but she's not a
Yen?
chef, but like, dude, I think she fits.
Yeah.
She's super cool
Oh,
though.
when she talks like real,
Yeah.
she's really, yeah, I'm sure we can make good content out of it.
She's like,
Because she's not like how she appears on social media.
No.
In person.
no.
She's nice,
Yeah.
and also she's very authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even like for her content, like, you know this too.
Yeah.
Like, every fucking influencer wants something.
Mm-hmm.
She never asks for anything. You know what I mean? She just does it.
Yeah.
You know, she
Yeah.
doesn't say, "Give me $1,000 or
Yeah.
whatever."
Yeah.
I mean, at least with me,
Yeah.
she never asked for nothing. You
Yeah.
know, she's just always cool.
Yeah.
You know, I never asked for nothing. Like, you know, she just did it. So
You must get reached out by a lot of influencers.
Yeah,
Hey,
you know
can
that.
Hey, by the way,
can we
my
collab?
rate is. Can we collab?
Yeah. And then they're like, "Well, this is what I need," and I'm like, "I don't need you that much." You know, I look at the numbers,
Yeah.
but I'll say this, dude. So Yen helped a lot, and there's this other influencer named Michael Legier. Do you know Michael? Man, he looks like a little kid, but he's probably like 20 something. He's like half Asian too, but man, he looks like he's like 19. So he came into Hina, right? And I was like, oh, wow, man, how'd this kid get money to come in here?
Yeah.
Right? And he came in again. I was like, fuck, he must like this shit. And I was like talking to him. He's like, hey, you know, I'd be interested in doing a video for you. I kind of do stuff online, you know, like influence. And I'm thinking like, this fucking kid. Was he like got like a couple thousand followers? And he's like, yeah, I do TikTok, this and that. And I was like, okay. I'll think about it and I'll get back to you. So he leaves, and then I look at his shit, and it was like, this kid had like 2 million followers on TikTok and shit. And I'm like, hey, Michael, man, like, you want to come in, man? But like, he's super cool too.
Yeah.
And like, he did a video for me, for Hina. He did a video, and like, that helped a lot too when he did it. Yeah, he was a good dude.
One video changes your business.
It
on
does.
Social media.
Yeah, it really does. Like, so before I met Michael, like, you know, I don't even remember, like, our Instagram page might have had like a couple thousand. And then after that, it would like, you know, we went like to 13, like almost like in like 3 days. It was just like, it's just like, you know, it was just like add and all that shit. I was like, whoa, really worked. So
yeah. Well, influence is very, very helpful.
I think depending, right, on the
depending
the
on
one,
who, sure. But I think just to be like fair with everyone, influencer helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
I mean, dude,
Yeah.
I think that's how I found you, right?
Right.
Was like,
Yeah. So how did you see me in the first place?
well,
Wait, did you know before I came to the restaurant that I
so
was there?
that's what it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
I might have,
Yeah.
because the timing is kind of weird.
Kind
but
of same. Yeah.
I don't
that's
remember
one.
if I saw it before or after, but I did see it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I think I did. I think I saw Yen did something.
Yeah, because that's how I know her.
And I didn't know her at that time, I think. I don't think I knew her. Maybe I did. Fuck, it's hard to remember now.
It's funny. So Yen, right? You said she doesn't ask for anything. You know how she first came?
Yeah.
She paid to dine.
That's how she always does it,
Yeah,
right?
she does it. Yeah. A lot of influencers just say, hey, can I get a
Can I get it
free
for
meal
free?
in exchange
Yeah.
of the content?
I mean, that's why her thinking is food is why I'm broke.
Yeah.
Because she's always paying for it.
Yeah.
I took her to this this fucking taco place. It was in a lady's backyard. And she made a video out of it, you know. She did like a whole thing.
Yeah.
She didn't ask for nothing. She just did it.
No, she's amazing. Yeah, she helped me a lot. She actually built my website too, Daiji Yacht Club.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
She's
And
super cool,
she's
man.
super cool.
Like,
Yeah.
just as a person, you
Mhm.
know. Just as a person, she's pretty
Thank
cool.
you, Ann.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She's cool as hell.
Okay. Well, thanks again,
No,
Tommy.
thank you, man.
Thank you, man. All right. Then we look forward to doing the collab.
We'll do our collabo
Yeah.
soon enough.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Let's talk more.
we'll see that. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that before. I'm glad you asked, though. I'm shy. I didn't want to ask.
Don't be
you.
shy.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
All right.
It's good opportunities opening up, you know.
Yep.
2025 is a good
Yeah.
year.
2025 looking good. All right. Yep. That's. Oh yeah. So, Hina Yakitori, right? Well, what's
Yeah.
your handle again?
So I have Hina Yakitori on Instagram. And I have Facebook, but I
Yeah.
don't use it.
Yeah. So go check him out, Hina Yakitori, on Instagram.
Yep.
That's where you mainly
That's my main. Yep.
post things,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, go check him out. If you want to hire him as a chef, I believe you can do so. So just
You could do it through
send
there.
him a message and just tell him that you heard from me, and maybe he gives you a discount or something.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We get the Daiji discount.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man, that was
Thanks,
fun.
guys. Thank you. Thank you, Nathan. That was awesome.